Recording from Chester County, Pennsylvania, this is Coast to Coast Sports, your weekly breakdown of the Philadelphia Eagles, Los Angeles Rams, and NFL teams from around the league. We're recapping last week, previewing what's ahead, and bringing you all the takes in between.
All right. Welcome to Coast to Coast Sports. This episode is sponsored by Restorative Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation in Thorndale, Pennsylvania, one of the only private physical therapy practices in Chester County offering one-to-one care with a licensed physical therapist. Call 484-378-7987 to book an appointment today. So it's been a rough week for our teams here, Eagles, Rams, both losing games they probably shouldn't have lost. I'm going to start a little different today. I'm not going to dive straight into the game, but I want you guys to answer this question. Which loss was worse, the Rams or the Eagles?
Rams.
It's not even close.
Not
You
even
think
close.
so?
It's not even close. It's not even a
What?
question.
Okay, let's hear it then. If it's
All
not
right.
close, let's hear
I
why.
Mike, Ryan, you answer it. Here's my 10-second analogy. It would be like if the Eagles had the Dallas Cowboys walk into Philadelphia without Dak Prescott. It would have been Cooper Rush in the past years. Without Sedarian Dion Lamb, without Pickens, without their tight end Ferguson, without their best defensive player, and beat them. I couldn't imagine. I probably would stop watching football.
And to Mike's point, and then it's like the Rams losing against kind of a random NFC opponent. Different conference,
So
not in
the only
division.
thing I will counter your extreme viewpoints with is the Rams always lose to the 49ers. So part of this was expected. Did you see it? I mean, it was a home game for the Niners in SoFi Stadium.
You were right. It was a home game for the Niners, which is just I still can't get over that.
Yeah.
My first note from Rams Niners, all I wrote was just pain. Just pain. That's all I wrote. Just pain. That's all I could feel.
My first note was expected.
I don't know, dude. I don't know how you expect that. I understand it's a division game, and anything can happen in a division game. That's a fact.
Yeah.
But
so
dude,
I will agree.
Yeah, I think you should actually start. You start. Give your because you're the Rams fan.
On paper, it's worse. Losing to a divisional opponent, terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's as embarrassing as the Eagles' loss, but I do think it hurts the Rams more to lose to the 49ers. Yes, the 49ers would beat up, but they always play the Rams strong, no matter what combination they have. Kyle Shanahan seems to know just how to beat McVay, no matter what. The 49ers make SoFi Stadium a home field. Like, it's expected. That's literally the word I'm going with. Is it in a way it was expected? We didn't predict it. We didn't even come close to it. But after watching the Rams for so many years and the 49ers just seeming to always beat us, it's like, this is the status quo.
This sounds like a coping mechanism.
It might be. Yeah, maybe I'm just in denial about it. But
yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, a few of the notes I put, I would say, so I started with just pain, and then I highlighted a few things. Block extra point, again, a blocked kick. I don't know how you let that happen after
Minor detail.
Twice.
Minor detail.
Created a tie score that led to the Kyren Williams fumble at the goal line, which is also pain because he got punched in the face and it should have been a flag. Didn't get called. Pain. And then the Cardi kickoff that landed short.
That was
short
pain.
Field to kick the field goal, and then 4th and 1, they run it when they're one of the best passing offenses in the league. Instead of passing it, they try to run it and get stuck.
You know us. We are a top-tier running offense. We never pass the ball. You basically call us the Philadelphia Eagles of the West. I mean,
yeah.
All right,
I mean, that was my brief summary of pain for you.
Okay.
Just to remind
so we are already starting to dive into the Rams 49ers a little bit. So let's just recap the Rams 49ers divisional match, Thursday night football. Overtime game, great Thursday night. You love to see the overtime games. 49ers end up winning 26-23. Matthew Stafford had one of his biggest games as the Rams, passing 389 yards, 30 for 47, 3 touchdowns. Kyron Williams probably lost the game for the Rams, rushing only 65 yards, having a terrible fumble on the 1 yard line. Devontae Adams playing really strong with 88 receiving yards. I mean, Puka Nacua is just always Puka Nacua. What was very surprising, Mac Jones throwing 342, 33 to 49,
It's embarrassing. It's
two
embarrassing.
touchdowns. He's literally throwing
I
up
feel
as he's
embarrassed for you.
walking off the field because of how beat up he is from the Rams defense, which I think is a testament to the Rams defense outside of the secondary.
Okay, we'll give you that. We'll give you that.
One of the biggest problems with the Rams defense right now is the secondary. McVay's talked about it. And then, as Mike already said, the game really came down to the end. Key Williams fumble on the 1 yard line. And then, for some reason, Sean McVay deciding that he was going to run the ball on 4th down, where he had the option to kick the field goal and get Mac Jones, who's literally throwing up because he's in so much pain, back on the field and forcing him to win, or passing it. Like, having it be the fourth.
How is it not 4th and Puka? How is it ever not 4th and Puka?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
So, that's the recap of the Rams 49ers game. Mike, you already gave some of your opinion. We'll circle back to you. I can see you will have more to say, but let's go to Ryan.
100%. I have so much to say. We're going to run out of time. Go, Ryan.
So I love that Mike's just ripping the Rams. I honestly I thought it was a good question. I still think that the Eagles that their loss was not as bad. But at the same time, I think the Rams are kind of playing better football at the same time. Like, both of their losses are not like flukes, but like they're in like a second it could have went the opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
And I think, like, I was watching that drive 100% confident the Rams were going to win.
Yeah.
As I was watching the Rams against the Eagles drive down and that they were going to kick the field goal. So as a fan, you have to feel really good about, okay, like, we technically could be 5-0 at this point. Stafford had 30 completions. I would never hand the ball to Kyron Williams in that moment.
4th and 1.
And I mean, he's not like he's a good running back, but he's not like a big back
or Saquon. You're not. The Rams are never relying on the run game to win it forever, and that was the strangest play call.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I just don't think you ever, in the biggest moment, you never take the ball out of the best player's hands. And I don't even think you had to go to Puka, but like,
no,
Puka,
Devontae Adams. I think you keep it in Stafford's hands for sure.
But honestly, like, the Rams, they didn't really surprise me in any way. I don't really have many takeaways from the Rams, but I was blown away by the Niners. I think I looked at it, it was like Kendrick Bourne had like 10 or 11 catches, almost 150 yards.
Kendrick Bourne is a scrub. What are we talking about?
Mike, are you kidding me? Dude, he was all over the field.
Okay.
Yes, I understand. He's not, dude. I feel terrible now about the Eagles offense because I was like, yo, we're passing games back. We lit up the Rams. Lighting up the Rams means nothing. Literally nothing. It doesn't mean anything. I have a hot take. They have the worst secondary in the league in all of games.
Maybe it's not that bad.
Name me a worse secondary. Name me a worse secondary. Name me a secondary that lets Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne light you up for 242 yards.
Cowboys.
Dude, they're competing with Dallas for the worst secondary in all of football. But you're right. Dallas is embarrassing.
Cowboys played good this week, but the previous weeks you could put them right there with the Rams, if not worse.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson threw like 800 yards against the Cowboys defense.
He did.
And still lost. But anyway.
So just to confirm, Kendrick Bourne had 10 catches on 11 targets. He dropped one pass. For who the frick was covering him for 142 yards? Dude, they made him look like the best receiver in the NFL. The guy's a
Pro Bowl.
We talked about it last week. I was like, who is Who the heck is Purdy if he even plays, which he didn't?
You
Who's he gonna
cannot
throw to?
underestimate Mac Jones. He is a top tier
Mac
quarterback.
Jones
They
is
have the top
garbage. He
receiving
is
core.
trash.
The Rams were just playing a top tier NFL
I
team. I
understand.
don't
Look,
know what you say.
Corey, I'd be doing the same thing if I were you. I would
Okay,
just.
we haven't even talked about Bryce Huff. We trashed him last week, saying
We
like, "Who the
did.
heck is he?
We did.
Who is the leading sack person of the 49ers last game?"
It's Bryce Huff.
Bryce Huff.
Bryce
My
Huff is
man.
also a bum, dude. He's not good.
He was the leading sacker for the 49ers. I don't know what you say. You're playing against a top tier 49ers.
Yeah.
They're 4-1. I mean, at
Yeah.
least we didn't lose to the Broncos.
So,
The Bron-
Corey, you would
Niners
admit
don't
though, we talked about last week. Hey, what do we think are serious potential issues for the Rams? And
Yeah,
obviously now, secondary would be the number one for them.
I
And
yeah.
would you put
Seriously,
kicking as a serious issue? Considering
I would
another,
not kicking. I
I'm
would
saying,
put
extra points and field goals.
the blocking on the extra points and field goals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because I think for the
You have
most
to.
part, our kicking has been good. Like Cardi, of course, had that bad kickoff, but all
his
season long,
kickoff's some of the best in the league, actually.
yeah, that's what I'm
I'll
saying.
tell
For
you that.
like 95%, 98% of his kickoffs are the best in the league. He had one bad kick at a really bad time, but I think
Yeah.
in general, our main problem is the blocking. They're just getting too much penetration. It's making it too easy for them to block it. So, okay. Any last closing remarks about the Rams before we move on to the Eagles?
Yeah, no, sorry, I still have two more points.
Oh gosh.
Go
No,
ahead,
go
Mike.
for it, Mike.
Well, so I have a quick hot take.
Okay.
I have and you guys are going to guess. I want you to guess. The LA
Okay.
Rams are the official NFC version of which AFC team?
This year? Or just like in general?
They resemble this team over the last like 5 years, in my opinion. Explosive offensively, but soft, like jelly. Like jelly. Like
Oh,
this
okay.
team.
I mean,
this
I
team
would
goes
say
into a cold climate and gets
Dolphins.
I mean, Miami.
annihilated. The
Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins. The New
Yeah.
York Rams are there. I was making comparisons. Oh, they're going to be the new Buffalo Bills to the Philadelphia Eagles. I now think they're the NFC's Miami Dolphins. So much firepower on offense. They have so much potential offensively. But when push comes to shove, the Niners punched them in the face, and they didn't have a response.
I don't think the Rams have as bad of a defense as the Dolphins ever have.
Oh, yes. Their secondary is worse than the Dolphins has been in the past.
Yeah, but if you're saying
But their front line, their D line's better. D line better, secondary worse. And that's probably mostly because the Dolphins used to have Xavier Howard, who was a top corner in the league, in addition to a pretty good safety group. So the Dolphins used to have a pretty good secondary with a bad O line, a bad D line. Sorry.
And don't forget that, like you're saying, last 5 years,
Yes,
was 2022 when the Rams won the Super Bowl.
No. I'm saying the Rams this year are the Dolphins of the last 5.
I don't think it's that drastic.
So like for instance, the Dolphins a few years ago had all this firepower in offense. It was finally their season, and then what happens? They absolutely choke in the last 2 games of the year.
But I
they
still
lose
don't
to
think...
Buffalo at home. They go to Kansas City, and they just soft. They're just soft. Like when it
I don't
comes
think
down
the
to
Rams
winning it, they don't do it.
I don't think the Rams look soft though, because if we look
they look
soft
soft in that Niners game.
Yeah, in the Niners, but when we played the
They
Eagles,
started out soft. I don't think they finished soft.
So you're not wrong, Corey. They punched the Eagles in the mouth, but then they got like the only reason they lost the Eagles game is they got soft. They got shoot. I mean, and it's whatever way you want to look at it. Like you have Mike McDaniel with the Dolphins, who's like this offensive mastermind. You have McVay with the Rams, offensive mastermind. Gets in their own head. When they gain a lead, they start to I don't know, but like McVay's obviously a really
the difference
smart
with
guy.
the Dolphins and the Rams is the Dolphins would just try to outscore you, period. I don't see the Rams doing that. The Rams have won a lot of games this year because of their defense, because of turnovers. Dolphins over the last 5 years have always been one-dimensional. They're saying, hey, we're going to score 35, 40 points on you. Yeah, our defense is going to give up 30 points, but we're just going to outscore you. But the Rams haven't been like that. We've won so many games, even this year and past years, because of our defense, because of Aaron Donald.
So we're looking at this year. You guys shut down the Texans.
Yeah.
Then you held the Titans in check, but they have the worst offense in the league. So no offense, I don't really give
But
them credit.
we won that game still based off of key defensive plays.
The Texans or the Titans?
The Titans. We had a interception late. Same with the
Yeah,
Colts. We had a late
the reason I
interception.
don't give a ton of credit, yeah, now I'm going to get nitpicky because I'm just going to say I don't give a ton of credit for the Titans because they are just trash offense. I don't give a ton of credit for the Colts because they beat themselves. Freaking Adonai Mitchell throws the ball forward in the end zone. It should have been 27 points, and then he gets the holding call. I mean,
Yep.
the defense very easily could have given up 34 points to them, to the
Mhm.
Colts. I mean, if not, and you could say, hey, those things happen in the NFL. I agree. I'm fascinated. I want to see how
Yeah.
the Rams respond primarily. So my last point was just the Rams. The reality was I don't like. I'm actually I almost am as annoyed like it's my team. Like I was so frustrated by their loss. I think I might have been more frustrated than Corey. I was like, dude, how do you lose that game? It's just.
Yeah.
But they were staring at that lead in Philly in the third quarter. They're looking at a 3-0 start, and instead now they're looking at. I mean, they're going to go to Baltimore. I don't think Lamar is going to play because I think his hamstring injury is a couple
Yeah,
weeks.
I
So
don't think he
they
is.
should easily win that game. If he somehow comes out and plays and you got a desperate Baltimore team,
Ravens
you can
defense is horrible.
that's true. I'd say you could put Ravens, Rams, and Cowboys as like the three competing
Yeah, I
defenses for the
forgot about
worst
the
in football.
Ravens. Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Well, something to
yeah.
remember too, like when we won our Super Bowl in 2022, we lost to the Niners twice that season, and we definitely
I remember
shouldn't have. Like we just shouldn't have.
the
Mhm.
Niners were a good team then, and they were healthy when they played you. Now
But
it was like
there's been times that they haven't been healthy and they still come in like the
to
last game of
that
the season.
level,
And oh
missing their
yeah,
best defensive player, missing their starting tight end, missing two starting receivers and their starting quarterback. It's just I just
yeah,
don't.
Mike,
Dude,
Mike, I love it, dude.
I still
yeah.
don't get it. I like will wake up some mornings and be like, what? But that's the
Yep,
NFL. Look, any given
it is.
Sunday, and
It is.
division
The
games
NFL
are
is set
that
up like
way.
that. Yep.
Yeah, division games are that way. So I get
Yep.
all that.
Yeah, and don't forget too, the 49ers are built up really well to be a more schematic offense that
Sure.
has really good just like drop in, the player can pick it up and just execute. That's one of the key pieces to Shanahan's offense, and I think that's why they've been successful even through all these injuries, even
Yeah,
last year and the year before.
and maybe that's what is going to be proven down the stretch. It's like, hey, I don't take the Niners that seriously yet. I
Yeah,
mean, maybe they do end up like really making a playoff push and playing well, and it's like, hey, this Niners team is legit because
yeah,
Shanahan's a legit coach,
yeah,
and they have what's his face who's a legit defensive coordinator. So they do have
yep,
unbelievable coaching there. That's a fact.
yep, yep.
So
All right. Any last closing remarks, Ryan?
Ryan, you got to
Done
make
with
another comment too. Say
it.
something.
I mean, I think Mike's making fine points, but I think the Niners are such a well-coached team, and I'm not worried about the Rams at all, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
Their cornerbacks stink, but
yeah.
I think
Every
they
team
figure
has
it out.
its
Sorry, I
fault.
will reiterate. It's still September, October.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah,
personally don't think all that matters is wins and losses. I don't think how you lose or who you lose to matters
Mhm.
until
yeah,
we hit mid-November, and I
yeah,
hold to that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, totally agree.
All right. Moving on. Shocking upset from the Broncos. 21-17 going into Philadelphia, beating them. Bo Nix, the MVP of the league, coming in and throwing on
Mhm.
a solid defense with the Eagles. 242 yards, one touchdown. Did take two sacks. That's okay. Every quarterback has some sacks here and there. Hurts did get through the air a little bit, threw 280 yards, two touchdowns. Saquon Barkley still not really finding his rhythm yet, rushing for 30 yards, six carries. A lot of drama in the receiving room. I have heard even more reports about Devontae Smith now being unhappy, AJ Brown still unhappy with how that's all turning out. I know we have some diehard Eagles fans in here. I'm going to start with Mike this time. Go for it.
all right. I mean, so like initial reaction is the Zebras took that game from us, and
Okay.
sometimes the script writers, they write the Zebras in as taking the dub. Um, so I mean, a couple interesting calls. You got Bo Nick's fumble that they overturned back to incomplete pass. And look, it's a 50-50 play, so I'm fine if it goes the Broncos' way. Then you get the
Mhm.
intentional grounding, they pick back up. So now it's two straight calls that were 50-50 that went for the Broncos. Then you get the ball and unsportsmanlike conduct that I
Mhm.
still don't think many people understand. When you get your body moving in a momentum, the guy isn't down. And then as the guy's falling to the ground, Ballin had already launched himself. So he's already going at the guy. I
Mhm.
still would say that's a 50-50 call. So now you're going to go three straight 50-50 calls to the Broncos and then the PI on Goddard at the end, which I still would call 50-50 because whether the ball was catchable or not, the refs wrote in their report that both guys were fending, but the guy literally held Goddard's jersey here. So I'll give all four of those as 50-50. Four 50-50 calls like that in key moments of a game cannot go to one team. It just can't happen. Like that, the refs should never let that happen in a game. So is that taking all responsibility off the Eagles? Of course not. The Eagles have had things go their way, especially in the Rams game, where it's like all these things line up and go your way. And in this game, it was the opposite. It was like everything that could go against you went against you. I would love to see. I think tomorrow they'll come out with the official report card for those refs from the
Mhm.
NFL. I'm fascinated to see it specifically on those four calls. Not that it
Mhm.
has to be like, oh, like they were wrong, but like something along the lines of like, hey, in a game, there's always going to be calls that are really close and it's hard to say. You need to go back and forth between the teams. I think that's how
Mhm.
any game should be called. And so that's what I'm calling for among the NFL is, hey, if there's three 50-50 calls, you can't have all three. It's split it. If it's four, split it. Like try to split it as best as you can.
Mhm.
Um, if it's that close. Of course, their goal is make the best possible call. I don't know. I'm interested to hear Ryan's take on those four plays specifically. My
Mhm.
big question that I'm still trying to figure out the answer to is who do I blame the most for the Eagles collapsing? And so
Mhm.
I wrote down Jalen, Patullo, O line, Sirianni, AJ Brown. The easy answer is it's a percentage of everything. The
Mhm.
question is, what's the biggest slice of the pie?
Mhm.
Um, I don't think you can purely blame AJ because it's just a single player. I don't think you can purely blame the offensive line because Dickerson did go out, but and they struggled when Toth came in for Dickerson. But I don't think that's like a huge piece of the pie. It goes somewhere along the lines of Jalen Patullo or Sirianni, and I'm trying to figure out between those three who we would really give blame to for the loss. So I'd love to get your takes, Ryan, on what you think.
One, I am so happy I sold these tickets.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Remember,
dude.
remember I
Seriously.
was supposed to be at the game?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, dude.
I sold them for almost 400 a piece.
Let's
Wow.
go.
There you
Yeah,
go.
crazy.
What a
So
win.
I obviously Corey and I were golfing during the time, but I ended up pulling up the game because our match was pretty much over
Mm.
um at the time, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're up 17-3. I was like, let's go. Like I heard like Devontae Smith called a 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, oh my gosh, like
Saquon. Saquon.
no, so, yeah, sorry. Devontae called a 50-yard
Yeah, he had that long
Pass.
pass,
cat.
and then
Yeah.
Yes.
and then and then the bomb to Saquon. Yeah,
Goddard. Yeah, yeah.
yep. And
Mhm.
I was like, oh my gosh, we're back. And I literally pulled the game up and I watched this go three and out, three and out, three and out. And I watched Denver just march down the field. I watched Quinion for the first time I've ever seen like
Yeah. Get
kind
burned.
of kind of get beat. And it was like heartbreaking. So in terms of those calls, absolute BS calls. We literally lost the Super Bowl
Mhm.
on an uncatchable ball because there was because Bradbury tugged Juju's
Didn't they
jersey.
call that a hold though? Not a PI. Isn't that the
Yes,
difference?
but they had Goddard's little
Yeah.
like
He was
shoulder
holding
pad.
his they were holding his jersey.
Mhm.
What's worse, a jersey grab or a shoulder pad grab? Anyway,
Yeah.
I was I was getting so fired up, and I don't love to blame things on the refs, and I'm not going to, but I do think it was definitely unfair, and it did add to our possible L. Um, but I did,
Possible. It's reality, Ryan.
yeah,
You
no, I
gotta
mean like
accept
at,
it.
Now it's still being reviewed. It might be overturned.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah. Um, So no, I'm obviously devastated. I do think it comes back to Kevin Patullo / Nick Sirianni, but I do think that our O line is the biggest issue this year. Like
Yeah. They can't run.
we're not dominating the line of scrimmage. All of our all pros last year are getting blown up, at the line for our run plays. And I think it's what we talked about a couple weeks ago. Eagles have to establish the pass in order to run. It's like
Yes.
they're the only team to do that.
Yes.
And like Saquon's kind of been irrelevant, and like this was back to my thinking for years of like you should never pay a running back.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
it
right.
all comes down to like Eagles had a perfect storm of they had the best running back in the NFL and the best O line. And now
Right.
our O line is underperforming and Saquon is obviously had that great touchdown ball, but in terms of running the football, he can't do anything because nobody can. You
Yeah.
can never I
Yeah.
mean maybe unless you're Cam Scadaboo who's just trucking dudes. Have you seen that man?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
wild.
he's
Except for
wild.
the fumble that was returned for a
Yeah,
touchdown.
yeah. But dude, he was like he's
Wait,
insane.
Ryan, can I ask you a quick question with regards to the running game?
Yep.
So I have the stat sheet, right? So Saquon in those first 3 quarters has 5 carries for like 30 yards. So he's averaging 6 yards a carry.
Hmm.
I don't understand. So we talked about how we need to pass the ball to open up the run game. So it seemed
Hmm.
like they passed a bunch, and then the run game was working. AJ Dillon got 2 carries for 12 yards. He averaged 6 yards a carry. I'm just looking at averages. We're averaging 6 yards a carry, and then compared to like 2 yards, right? Because that's what. So
Hmm.
that's where I just don't understand why they wouldn't start trying to run at that point
Yep.
with that averages. Why do you like? What do you like? Why not at that
Well,
point? Because
let
they don't
me
believe
ask
it,
you
or
one thing, Mike,
It's a good
because
point.
the
I have
average
a
is
stat.
like, did he have a 25-yard run or something that's skewed?
Saquon
And
had a
then
17-yard run,
okay, so that
and
was
then
one of them.
he had 4 carries that combined for uh, 13 yards after that, which is around a little over 3 yards a carry.
Hmm.
Right.
Which
I
Which is
saw.
and
not
then
Saquon.
Dylan had 2 6-yard carries. So
Yeah.
I just don't. I still am kind of like
Yeah.
they're averaging 6 yards a carry, and even if you take out the long run, they were still averaging over 3 yards.
I saw a stat that said I think in like I think the second half, Elliott Shore Park said on almost half of the Eagles' first down plays, they gained 0 yards or got a penalty to push them back. So I
Hmm.
think our
They
play
were
call,
throwing
so I
because
think
of that.
our play call was based on 2nd and 10, 1st and 15, 1st and 20. Every time I looked down, I was like, what are we doing? And the drives I saw, it was nonstop pass
Yeah,
plays, and then
Yeah.
sack, and I was like, oh my gosh. So that probably true. But Mike, honestly, that's a good point, and that would shift the blame more to Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patula, whoever's calling the plays, which I assume is Kevin based on what they're telling us.
but Elliott
Yeah.
Shore Park's point was if they were completing that initial pass on 1st and 10 for 6 yards, then they would run it. But they were
Correct.
never creating second and short situations. That was
Correct.
a big part of the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
was.
honestly, guys, I am concerned.
Yeah.
I I read all this stuff. This is the 2023 Eagles. We can't find our identity, and like
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm starting
So,
to
Ryan,
spiral.
last podcast, I said that I think this could be a make or break game for the Eagles.
Yep.
Do you think the outcome of this is significant enough to cause the Eagles to break? Or do you think they're just going to kind of bounce back and recover?
So we play the Giants Thursday night, right? In
Hmm.
MetLife.
Hmm.
I do think we're going to win that game because we have to.
Yeah.
Like, and so
The
to your
Rams
point,
had to beat the Niners, though.
Yeah. Don't count them out.
yeah. But like to your point, Court, I do think if the Eagles come out on national TV, a night game,
Mhm.
look even worse on offense and somehow lose to the Giants, it will get so blown up in the media, and I do
Yeah.
think it would be an absolute train
So
wreck.
in your opinion, then it really wasn't a game that will break the Eagles, but next week could be.
Correct. Yeah, I mean
Okay.
it was a 1 o'clock AFC opponent
Yeah.
after being 4-0. So I don't think it's gonna break, but I think this week could because
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
So
still way too early. It's super
yeah.
early.
Yeah. And Mike's probably right. I'm just so into Philly sports. Like each loss feels like
Hmm.
I'm like, "Oh my gosh, my week."
Yeah.
Well, 17-3 lead is a brutal. I mean,
Yeah.
it's different
With
than being.
Yeah.
with 11 minutes left,
Yeah.
I'm convinced as soon as I turned it on, I was the bad omen.
Yeah.
So the reason, Corey, I would say, I think what's interesting to do is always compare, right? Compare to the
Hmm
2023 season and even
hmm
compare to last year. In the 2023 season, the Eagles start 5-0. Everything's kind of weird. Everything's off. They lose to the New York Jets in New York.
hmm
Jalen has a horrible game. There's two late picks that are
That's
just
right.
hmm
embarrassing. And then they bounce back and win like four games in a row after that. They
Right,
win in
right.
Kansas City. They beat Buffalo. They beat Dallas at home. And so, like, at people could have been like, oh my gosh, like the Eagles have been winning, 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 and now they're going to break after the Jets game. And even in that season where they did collapse, it was still just too early, I think.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
even last year, if you remember, they start 2-2. People think, oh, after the bye, like then everything changed. No, it didn't. They
hmm
almost lost to the Browns. It was an
hmm
embarrassing game. Sirianni was yelling at the fans. Then they go to New York and beat the Giants, who sucked anyway, so that didn't mean anything. And that was Saquon's revenge game. And then they come home to play the Jags, which Ryan was at that game. That's
And
where
they
you get kind
almost
of,
lost it.
and they almost lost. They were winning by like
Yeah.
four scores. Jags come back. It comes down to the last possession, and they win. And you're like, all right, that was like ugly. It wasn't until they went to Cincinnati, which I think we watched a little bit of the end of that game because our Bible study was
hmm
together. And I
hmm
think that was like the defining, okay, they had a huge, like they had a dominant win at the end of the game. But that wasn't till, what was that? Five, six, seven. That was week 8.
hmm
Or week 9 against the Jags, I think. Week 9.
Yeah.
So I think that around that week 9, week 10, which is in line with what? Mid-November.
hmm
Mid-November to me is like, at this point what, like, you have a good idea what you're going to be. Like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
you look the week before Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving the week after, those 3 games will basically tell you the way
Yeah.
it's going to go,
All
And
right.
I
I think.
and I think mid-November we play Green Bay in Lambeau.
Green Bay and
So
Lambeau, Detroit at home, then we go to Dallas. So
so
Yeah.
those three
that's going
games
to be
out of
our
the bye,
season.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It all comes down to that. It doesn't matter if we're 7-1 or 6-2 going into that. It's
Yeah.
those 3 games.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
All right, Mike, last closing thoughts about the Eagles game this week in 60 seconds or less. Go.
I mean, that was pretty much it. That's all I got.
That's all
Those
you
are my
got?
closing
Nothing
thoughts.
else?
No, I'd go to
How,
Ryan.
do
Actually,
you feel
Corey, I want to hear. I'd rather hear your take. Actually, give your minute spiel. I mean, because it seems like you think this might have been like you said
Yeah.
last week. So do you
I
hold?
thought,
Hey, I think this is a breaking moment.
no, I don't think it's going to be a breaking moment. I do think the heat has been turned up, and I I know the media loves to cover Eagles, especially if they can create stories and the drama about it. I see some legitimate concerns about how the Eagles wide receivers are feeling in general about the offense. I think it goes back to that identity. I almost felt like last year that the receivers knew they were run first.
Yep.
So just go with it. But now they're like, okay, the run's not working. Why aren't we trying to pass now? And I think that's where it's kind of stirring the pot a little bit, where
Yep.
Mhm.
now they know that they have the opportunity and now they're
Yep.
seeing that they're still not getting it. And the
Mhm.
Eagles are trying and trying and trying to keep that run working, which might be what the Eagles are trying to do is just hang on to that identity from last year. But
Mhm.
I don't think this game ended up breaking them. I think it ended up just turning up the heat a little bit. If they lose next week, though, it is
Oof.
going to
You
be
can't lose in New
fire.
York. You can't lose in New York.
No.
I think I'd say the same of the Rams. The Rams cannot go into Baltimore and lose. There's no option to lose that game.
Another
Yeah.
AFC game, Core.
If you,
What
it
the
doesn't
I
matter.
know
hell?
we
But
have
like,
so many AFC
if
games.
you lose in Baltimore, who's 1-4, and they don't have Lamar,
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say because that
All
would be the
right. So
two.
we'll talk about next week's games in a moment. But Ryan, I want your closing remarks, closing thoughts on Eagles.
I
30
am.
seconds.
Yep. I am concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nervous, but
Mm-hmm.
but I still believe this is our first loss in an entire calendar year. This stinks how other teams feel. I hate this feeling. I don't
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you root for teams like the Jets or the Carolina and actually like go to the game every week. But
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
it was a bad loss at home, but I still believe.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So that's it for the recap from last week. Up next, we're going to look forward a little bit, preview the Eagles versus the Giants, and then We're also going to preview the Rams versus the Ravens.
Bring more fun to your rounds with Birdie Board, the golf app designed for matches with friends. Choose the format you love: stroke play, match play, Stableford, with or without teams, handicaps or not. Invite your friends, and Birdie Board does the rest. Just enter your score and focus on the fun, while we keep track of everything, including stats like lowest score and worst hole. Download Birdie Board today on the App Store or Google Play, and let the
All right,
games
welcome
begin.
back. We are going to look forward now to some matchups for the Eagles and Rams, but let's first catch up to see how our predictions are going so far this season. Last week was not very good for us at all. We all chose the Eagles to win. We all chose the Rams to win. So we were all wrong. So not much has changed. Right now, I am 6-3 with my predictions. Mike, you are 7-3, but you got that bonus win because you predicted the Colts Rams exactly. And Ryan, you're a 7-2. So I think Ryan is in the lead right now with one less loss, but Mike, you are close second, and I am bringing up the rear 6-3. That's where we currently stand.
I knew I should have picked the Broncos, but I chickened out.
Mm-hmm. I think as the season goes on, we're going to get more variability to who chooses what team, especially if both of our teams start losing a little more frequently. It's just going to make it harder to predict. Something interesting that happened this week, we have no more undefeated teams in the NFL either. That's going to add more variability. So looking forward, let's first cover the Rams-Ravens coming up October 12th on Sunday. It's a 1 o'clock game. Ravens are looking pretty decimated right now. They probably will not have Lamar Jackson. Rams are coming off a tough loss, which I think might actually help them. We have a mini bye week because it was a Thursday game. Right now, the spread is the Rams at 7.5. Over under is 44.5. Ryan, what's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, so I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Ravens are starting Cooper Rush.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And Mike, this is the old Dallas quarterback, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So
this loss would be more embarrassing than the loss to the Niners.
I love how fired up Mike is.
I don't feel embarrassed at all for the loss to the 49ers. It's expected. It's a good team. They had a top-tier quarterback making a run for the Hall of Fame with Mac Jones. It's just expected.
So I feel like, one, I think the Ravens were one of the biggest disappointments this year. Obviously, Lamar got hurt like 2 weeks ago and was out. But listen to these scores. 41, 38, 37, 44. And in their losses, that's what their defense has allowed in each game. And now they're going against the Rams, who should not run the ball on 4th and 1, but can pass the ball with anyone down the field. I just don't see how the Ravens can compete in this game. Obviously, you never know if the Rams fly across the country or half asleep or jet lagged or whatever. I think that's the only way. Cooper Rush, I think, did a decent job for the Cowboys a couple years back, but is he going to be able to catch up with the Rams offense? I think not. I would love to see improvement on the Rams, within the Rams secondary cornerbacks. See if they can gain any type of confidence from this game, because obviously Cooper Rush is going to have to throw the ball, and the Ravens are primarily a run dominant team. So curious if they can maybe make, the cornerback specifically, like make another pick or make some plays, try and build up that confidence. But yeah, I got Rams all day. I don't really see how you can see it otherwise. But yeah, those are my high-level thoughts.
So last week, Cooper Rush threw 3 interceptions. It is the premier game for the corners of the Rams to regain their confidence a little bit.
Exactly.
They need at least a couple interceptions. They need to lock him down. If they can't lock down Cooper Rush, the concern's going to go through the roof. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams start trying to make an aggressive trade, never put it back past Les Snead. He's always big on trading his draft picks, as you guys know. Last year was the first time we had a first round in like 8 years before that. So I think they'll make the aggressive moves if they have to, if the game isn't going their way, especially with the secondary concern. Derrick
Yep.
Henry isn't playing super well. You guys have saw earlier in the season he can't hold on to the ball right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He had 33 rushing yards last game versus the Texans. They're just not doing anything right now. And the 49ers are beat up, but I think the Ravens, without Lamar, is a different story. I think Purdy and Mac Jones, they're similar quarterbacks. Purdy is a lot better, but they're still both kind of pocket passer type of quarterbacks. Cooper Rush is nothing like Lamar. So your whole offense has to change. Your whole scheme, everything you've practiced in the offseason is changing too. So it's just not an easy thing for I think the Ravens to put in a backup quarterback like it is with the 49ers. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, so Derrick Henry had 33 rush yards last week on 15 carries. So he's averaging just over 2 yards.
A yard, yeah.
He's getting completely shut down. And so if they can't run the ball, which I don't really expect them to be able to run it that well against the Rams D, they have to throw. Now, an interesting point of view is you could say that this is the Rams corner's opportunity to like regain confidence. This is Cooper Rush's opportunity to regain some confidence.
Okay.
Playing one of the worst secondaries in the league, dude. I'm just saying, it depends which way you look at it. It could go either way in that circumstance. No, I mean, it's funny because I argue, hey, none of these games, how you look doesn't really matter. It's just about getting the W, which is true. From a confidence standpoint, if you're the Rams, you need to go beat Baltimore by more than like 3 points. Like, you need to win this game by like 10. Go win by 10, win by two double digits. Like show that you are like a top team to be considered in the league. And I think they'll do that. I think they should win this game. I think that I like that the line is 7.5. I just was looking at so it was 44-10 they lost to the Texans. And you might sit there and go, dude, the Texans could barely score against the Rams, right? But interestingly, if you look at the depth chart, starting nickelback Marlon Humphrey for the Ravens was out. Their starting right corner Awuzie was out. Starting safety Kyle Hamilton was out. Hamilton's one of the best safeties in the league. So 3 of their starting defensive backs were out. Right? 2 corners and a safety. They only had 2 starters, Nate Wiggins and their other safety, who were actually starting. That's brutal. So not only did Lamar get hurt, but their defensive secondary has been littered by injuries. And I think that's part of – they got lit up by the Chiefs. And I think a bunch of these guys got hurt in the Chiefs game. So then they're backups. PJ Tampa, Ruben Lowry the third. I don't even know who these guys are. Keon Martin. These guys are
no picture in Madden, people.
Yeah.
When you throw bums in like that, and I'm thinking about it. Think about it, Ryan. If Quinyon Mitchell got hurt and Cooper DeJean got hurt and Blankenship got hurt,
oh my gosh,
get toasted, right?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
If the Rams corners got hurt, they would be just as bad. It would
don't forget that we lost our starting corner this season already.
Sorry, you did.
So we're already pretty banged up in that position.
For how long?
So I don't remember, but I know we lost him right now. I'll have to look.
It's like the corner is such an interesting position because it's like you can't just stick some scrub out on an island or he'll just get absolutely dominated. And I do think the discrepancy among corners, I think there's a high discrepancy.
Yeah.
It's different than like, well, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a position. Is there a position where
we lost Witherspoon, who is our starting corner, to a broken collarbone, and he's on IR right now.
Yeah.
And we lost him 3 weeks ago.
Pain.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
All right. So that's Ravens. Seems like the Rams should have a strong victory. We'll do the predictions last today. Let's hop over to the Eagles-Giants. The current spread is also 7.5. matchup predictor on ESPN has the Eagles at a 75% chance of winning, over under at 41.5. Let's start with you, Mike. How are the Eagles going to play?
The matchup to watch, without question, is the Giants' defensive line against the Eagles' offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know the status of Dickerson, but on a short week, he's probably not playing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing it's going to be Brett Toth, who's better than Matt Pryor, because Matt Pryor shouldn't even sniff a field, as we've talked about. Just looking right now at the Giants line, you got Kayvon Thibodeau, who's an absolute beast.
Stud.
Plus Dexter Lawrence at nose tackle.
One of the best in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Plus, don't they have the Penn State guy?
The number 1 overall draft pick.
Abdul Carter. They have him. They have
Mm-hmm.
Abdul Carter literally listed as a backup. That's wild. So their defensive line depth is unbelievable.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing.
In the league. Again, it's a little deceiving because like they lose to the Saints, they give up 26, but one of those was a defensive touchdown the Saints scored on them.
Mm-hmm.
So they really gave up 19 points in a dome, and so that matchup's going to be really interesting. Can the Eagles run the ball? Do the Eagles try to reestablish the run after what they did on Sunday against the Broncos? Or, what's their strategy? If you okay, what I think and what I think they should do versus what I think they will do, I think might be two different things. I think they should again utilize the pass to open up the run.
Mm-hmm.
Start passing the ball and then do what you didn't do against the Broncos, start to actually run it. I have a feeling they're going to flip-flop back and start to run the ball a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that will be successful or not will depend on how the offensive line opens up holes against a really good defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be surprised by a 3-3 score at halftime. I expect very low scoring in the first half.
Yeah. I honestly do agree with Mike. What I would love to see, I would love to see Cam Scatterbo get into it with Jalen Carter. And them two just get two unnecessary, they both get flagged on the play and they're like, this is your first warning. If not, you're thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just love Cam Scatterbo, man. He's just like he's like a little bowling ball out there.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think Mike made some good points. I do think it comes down to our O-line versus their D-line. Another thing I want to add in that Mike didn't say is this is what makes me nervous. I know Jackson Dart is a rookie. He's a rookie, right? This is his third start. But the Eagles, I'm telling you, they struggle sometimes with running quarterbacks, especially how well Jackson can run. So my imagination how this game's going to go is Jackson's going to have nowhere to throw the ball, right? Sadly, Malik Neighbors is out for the year. I don't even know who he's throwing to. If they can't run, right, they're going to be throwing. And then I assume it'll be covered, and then he's going to use his legs and kind of did what Mahomes did to us in week 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I kind of envisioned this game going. So I think the recipe for the Giants is Jackson Dart using his legs and their D-line just dismantling us and allowing us to kind of not move the ball, which is definitely possible, which is sad to say because our O-line has absolutely dominated for the past 3 or 4 years. Right. I mean, you can see in the playoffs last year in the Green Bay game, Jalen Hurts literally had 7 seconds to sit back and throw. And
right.
Green Bay was falling down. Their defensive line was just on the ground. So I think we're very far from that. And I do feel like games are won on the line of scrimmage. Yep. I do wish that the Giants didn't lose to the Saints because I think that's going to fire them up a little bit more. Saints are terrible. But yeah, I think it comes down to the O-line, D-line, and Jackson Dart's legs. I think our defense is going to show up. Our defense honestly showed up against the Broncos. I don't blame them at all. They held them to 3 points with 9 minutes left into the fourth quarter. What do you
think the spread
expect?
Is inaccurate at 7.5?
I do think it's semi-inaccurate. I understand it. I think it should be more 4.5 to 6.5, maybe 5.5.
Division game, dude. It's hard to win a lot.
Yeah, division game. I know we've owned the Giants, how you guys kind of own the Cardinals, Corey, in your division.
Everyone owns the Cardinals. We tend to own the Seahawks, though.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of been the same thing ever since Eli and Tom Coughlin left the Giants.
Yeah.
Everyone runs over them, including the Commanders this past 2 or 3 years.
Right.
but Giants are always a big market team. So, and apparently this is what I heard, Mike. I heard that Giants players hate the Eagles the most out of the division. And I don't,
Yeah,
MetLife is
yeah, they
not the
do.
easy stadium to win in either. Like they
yeah.
will have a lot of Giants fans there.
And I swear, if one of our players gets hurt on that stupid stadium,
Yeah, the turf. It's the
why do
turf.
they
Yeah,
still have that?
Well,
yeah.
That
whoa,
literally makes me
dude,
so mad.
Ryan, there's 14 turf fields in the NFL. Just so you
But
know.
but why does everyone talk about MetLife?
Oh, dude, it's not just MetLife. LA is turf.
Is it the same turf though?
I think all turf fields are what are their higher injury rates, specifically non-contact injuries,
They need to get
meaning
rid of it.
ACL tears, meniscus tears, higher injury rates, and it's not even close on turf compared to grass. It's just easier to maintain. It's less work and it's more affordable.
I think
So
it's more marketable too.
all
Logos and stuff
domes, all
pop better.
domes. Yeah, New Orleans, the Colts, the Vikings, they're all
Here's a
turf.
pop quiz. What dome does not have turf?
The Cardinals.
Yep. They actually rolled their
That
whole
turned out great in the
field
Super Bowl
in
for
and
us.
out.
That was terrible. That was absolutely
Did you
terrible.
see that field? That was the worst field I've ever. How does the NFL let that happen? Anyway,
Mm.
but Mike, good point. But still, MetLife sucks. I feel like everyone's getting. And did you see like Malik Neighbors like not only tore his ACL, he tore like everything. Like his
Yeah,
whole
it was
knee,
bad.
his
It was
whole
bad.
knee's like gone.
His
Yeah.
knee is basically the same as Tyreek Hill's knee, even though it was non-contact and nothing really happened.
It's
Uh,
crazy. It's
just
crazy.
as a quick aside, the I was looking at the depth chart for the Giants. So their receivers who will be playing are Wandale Robinson, no idea who that is. Darius Slayton, that was the guy who got harassed by the Brazilians when Darius
Yeah.
Slay made a comment about them, and the Brazilians thought Darius Slayton was Darius Slay. And then Jalen Hyatt. So like, dude,
Yeah.
there's like no real receiving threats
They
there.
just don't have any. And then we talk about Scadaboo, but he's not even their starting running back.
No.
Tracy has been.
Well, no,
Scottaboo has the
Tracy's
most
hurt.
yards.
Tracy's hurt.
I know that's what I'm saying. Is like
Yeah, so
Tracy's out
Scadaboo's
as
technically
well.
their backup. So
Right.
they're a rookie QB with a backup running back, and they're missing their star receiver. To me,
Right.
it's like, how does this game not like? How does it not scream low scoring? Like literally, like
Yeah.
I said, a 3-3 score at half because the Eagles come out, they're trying to run, they can't because the Giants D line's holding them, and they're throwing somewhat effectively. And then in the second half, Eagles break away by a little bit, and maybe they win by 7 or 4 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to tweak, tweak
Yeah.
it, but
All right.
if it's
Let's
high
go
scoring
into
in the first half, I'll
our
be shocked.
let's go into our predictions now. So we got the Rams fresh in our minds. We have the Eagles fresh in our minds. I'll start us off. I'll give predictions for both starting off.
Whoa.
All right, Core, double
I know.
dip.
Let's go, bro.
All right. I thought that one of these games might be a trap game for both of these teams
Ooh, okay.
if they both didn't lose last week. So
Yep.
I think the fact that both the Rams and the Eagles are coming off losses, and the fact that I think both are still top contenders in the NFL. I think they're both going to bounce back with a win. I don't think either is going to be too impressive, though. I think both are going to leave a lot of questions. Both are games the Eagles and the Rams should win on paper. And I just don't think either is going to meet the spread. So for the Eagles-Giants, I think the Eagles are going to squeeze out a 23-20 win. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think the Rams are going to win 30-27. I think the Rams are going to let Baltimore think they're in it. And then they're just going to go back to what they are good at, not make the same mistake, trying to run it at the end of the game, pass it down the field, and win on a game or a final drive for Matthew Stafford in the fourth quarter. So I think we're going to get wins for both of our teams. I just think they're going to be a lot closer than what the spreads show.
What did you say that final score was for Rams?
30-27. So I think both are going to be 3-point games.
Okay.
Yep. And the Ravens specifically, I think it's going to come down to it with the final drive.
Ooh, I'm so sick of watching the Eagles in the final minute decide the game.
All right. Let's
relax.
go to you then, Ryan. What are your predictions?
So I'm going to slightly disagree with you, Core, mainly because
Mhm.
I need to be more hopeful in my life.
Uh,
So I'm going to go that. So like same mindset. I'm going to go the Eagles and Rams win, but I think they both cover the spread.
mhm,
Um, I just hope and think the Eagles are going to come out firing based on their first loss in a calendar year. I think the Rams pretty much the same. Um,
mhm.
I'm actually going to go same score for both games.
Really? All right.
Whoa, double down.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, so I'm going to go 30-17. Um, yeah, and I do think it, like to Mike's point earlier, like I do think it's going to be low scoring at first, but I think in the second half, at least the Eagles are going to kind of come alive.
Mhm,
I do think the Rams are going to try to going to most of the time control the game. It's interesting if the Rams can kind of put together a full game.
mhm.
Um,
I mean,
you know what I
same.
mean?
You could say the same about the Eagles.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah,
Yep.
same thing.
Mhm.
So I think our both teams kind of come alive, have a complete game, cover the spread.
All right, Mike.
It will be 3-3 at halftime. Eagles. Do I get something for that if I predict that right now? Eagles Giants will be 3-3 at half.
I'll
Eagles.
give you a point for that.
No. You can't do half because then we're all making halftime predictions.
Yeah, it's fair.
Well, I got the halftime right. Birds will take the win 20-13. They will not cover. I mostly have to stick to that because my grandfather and I make a bet on every game. So I always am saying the Eagles are going to win but not cover the spread. So 20-13, low scoring. I think the Eagles struggle in the first half and then they pick it up in the second half. So that's yeah. And then for Rams Ravens, I'm gonna say 34-23 Rams. They cover the spread. And so I'm kind of
34. Let's go.
Nice.
34-23.
It's awesome.
Final score there. I think I have a feeling I'm getting the Rams score right again. I don't know why.
You think
Dude,
so?
I do think it's so impressive to
34-23.
predict the score.
Dude. I don't know why. I just think it's gonna happen. But Cooper Rush comes alive, and I don't know. He still sucks either way. So.
Mhm. All right. Week 6 coming up. Any last remarks for Eagles, Rams, or any other games going on?
I mean, I was just going to comment on the comebacks were wild this week from the Titans on the Cardinals. Such a pain. I mean, I guess like the theme to me was painful losses.
Yeah.
Like the Rams start on Thursday night, painful loss. Then you have the Eagles up 17-3, painful loss. Cardinals are up, 21-6. Should have been 28-6, but the running back drops it going into the end zone.
Jonathan Gannon punching his own,
Dude,
punching him.
Punches his own, punches the guy. And then what else did you have? You had Bills lose to the Pats at home on Sunday night. Painful loss. I'm missing a couple others, but there were a few just comebacks of like,
Yep.
I don't know. It's the beauty of the NFL, and I think it was great that like some of the comebacks were exciting and fun to see. Oh, Tampa and Seattle. Seattle had the lead. Tampa scored the tied, and then Seattle tried to force it and threw a pick. That then Tampa won on a field goal at regulation. So, yeah. Hopefully, there's more of that to come. We'll see.
And like Corey said earlier, no more undefeated teams. I love going on social media. Apparently, like there's players or coaches or whatever from the 1972 Dolphins. They always like smoke a cigar and like pour a drink as soon as the last team.
It happened early this season.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. It did. So, but my last thought on the Eagles are. I think as I sit on it, I think a lot of people are overreacting. Your team's not going to go 17-0. The Eagles aren't going to win every game. It's impossible. So I will react differently if they have an embarrassing performance on Thursday Night Football against the Giants, but we'll see. TBD.
TBD, boys.
All right.
We'll see. It's all fun.
Well, that's it for this episode of Coast to Coast Sports. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, we're excited to come back and
that wraps up this week's episode of Coast to Coast Sports. Make sure to subscribe hit that like button and share the show with a fellow football fan. From Philly to LA and around the league, we'll be back next week with more sports talk.